Hello, beautiful human. Thanks for clicking or tapping on our conversation with Oliver Tree. He's a character, to say the least. We have a lot to discuss: music, screenplays, him suing his best friend. There's a lot to get into here. I'm begging you, subscribe to our channel, share it with those you care about, and leave your honest feedback in the comment section below, please. And yeah, I'm grateful you're here. You should know, though, that great deals, we love them, don't we? Like savings, markdowns, and lunch specials. But when it comes to car insurance, you should know that the right place to go is an easy choice. It's State Farm. State Farm offers surprisingly great rates for your ride. Your friends, they don't have to have a special fancy connection or calling a favor. State Farm has options for everyone, like insuring your ride and your home, getting you great rates on both. Why are these such surprisingly great rates? It's what you get from them. Coverage that meets your needs. Because honestly, insurance shouldn't put a hole in your wallet. Those are some good neighbors, and they're always in your corner. No promo codes, no waiting around for holiday deals, and no sales section. State Farm fits your life at a price that fits your budget. So when friends ask where to go for surprisingly great rates, you tell them State Farm. Because like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Call or go to statefarm.com for a free quote today. And please, enjoy our conversation with Oliver Tree, because this man has a lot to say.
Let's do this. Zach Show.
Hello, beautiful human. I'm Zach. That's Dan.
Yo.
Oliver Tree.
Woo.
Is here.
What's up?
Sick hair, bro.
Thank you.
Who is Oliver Tree? Let's start there.
Oliver Tree is just the everyday Joe. He's dedicated his life to the art. Sacrifice. Haven't had a day off for years.
Got it.
I work till about 7 or 8 a.m. every night till the sun comes up, and I'm doing it for the culture.
Do you feel like you are moving culture in a direction?
I think so in some ways not. I mean, you're never going to reinvent the wheel, but a guy like me, we contribute what we can.
Where are you pushing culture? What direction are we going?
I'd like to think with my last album, I made my own strain of vaporwave hipster, aesthetically, and then sonically pushing the fusion forward, pushing together some kind of contributions in performance art and belly dancing, that's for sure.
Belly dancing?
Yeah, I'm a belly dancer. By trade, yeah.
Really?
I started when I was 6.
Yeah, okay, you've been performing very early, right? You say you played the piano at 3. You wrote your first song a year later.
Yeah, I've been working on music for upwards of 25 years. I've been doing it professionally for 10 years. So it's nice that it's finally starting to work out after 10 years of doing this as a job. It's been one failure monumentally after another. So, I mean, and everything I've done pretty much up to this point has been a failure, if you ask me. But life goes on. Obviously, the reason I'm here today is something that's started to feel like a little bit less of a failure.
Well, also, I mean, life does go on. You can
does.
keep moving. With consistency, you can still prove something, right? You can still accomplish things if you just
I'm
keep
not here to
trying.
prove anything. I'm just here to make some great art, and I'm looking at the 360 of entertainment and penetrating at every angle. So I'm exploring, and when something doesn't work, you got to dust yourself off and try it again, learn from the mistake. Otherwise, it's really a mistake. If you actually learn from it, it's just a learning experience to push you to the next level.
100%. What's the biggest mistake you feel like you've made in the last just couple years?
Everything I've done has been a failure, bro. Like, I'm not kidding you.
Do you really believe that?
I do. But I will say this Life Goes On thing, this song is 7 years old, so luckily it finally came out. But the thing is that, yeah, everything besides that song has essentially been a failure.
What? So, okay, hold on. You went to art school, you go to school, then you try music, and then you go back to school, correct?
I went to school way after I started making music. I've been doing music before I went to college, but really got my first record deal when I was 18, and that didn't work out. And I basically went on hiatus for a couple years, told them I quit, and was just making tons of albums because I couldn't stop making music. I just kind of fell off the face of the earth as far as like social media or whatever. Stopped releasing, just kept making art because I couldn't stop. That was just for me. And then basically went back to school because they were like, we can't pay for you to live anymore. Basically, I stopped school to pursue music full time. The label's like, we'll take care of you, don't go to school. And then that didn't work out. So I went back to school and managed to get a major label deal while I was finishing school, and pretty much lined up setting it up so that I could be working in music as soon as I graduated. So it was a very tight timeline.
Why now? like life goes on. You said is 7 years old. So
Yeah.
why do you ask yourself why now?
What do you mean?
Why is it working today when it didn't
Well, I
work
think
before?
that in a lot of ways, a real artist is 5 to 10 years ahead of the audience. You know? Head of the curve. So, like, if that song would have come out 7 years ago, I don't think it would have made the impact. I know it wouldn't have. And I think this is a testament of that. You know, like, the reality is the song didn't come out for reasons that I had some conflict with one of my best friends who I made it with, and we ended up, like, losing our friendship over this song. And then we actually are best friends again now, so it's all good. But, you know, it was something that was, like, we both wanted to release the song on our own, and, you know, it didn't end up coming out, and it was something that was very close to never seeing daylight.
Are you friends only after you release the song, or do you try to mend, your
We
issues?
tried to mend it, and we were cool after a while, but, like, the song coming out really made it so that we could be excited about something together, and you know what I mean? But we went to a wedding together about a couple weeks ago, and it was just like old times, laughing more than ever. So, I mean, things just need time to heal sometimes, you know? And we were both kind of in our own worlds, and now we're coming back together, and we made a beautiful song that can inspire people. So what more can you ask for?
By the way, that is a real sign of a timeless piece of art, which is like you can sit on something for so long, and then when it's time to see the light of day, it's like more relevant than ever.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, I don't listen to music. I don't listen to anything except for the new music I'm working on. So I've been working on this album, Cowboy Tears, for a few years now. And this is my country debut. So it's really my first real album in a lot of ways. I had Ugly as Beautiful as my first album, but that was a selected works made over 5 years. The label kind of packaged it, released it horribly, put out pretty much every song on it before it even came out. So it was just kind of a body of work that was a bunch of singles from various EPs and different stuff. But Cowboy Tears is essentially my first real album, my first concept album, and my last album. So after that, I'm going to segue over to film. I've been writing screenplays during the pandemic, and I've been just focusing on writing and directing. So music videos have been my film school. I've been making these documentaries, made 17 over the last 5 years, and we're in the process of editing them. I built a production company this year. So I'm segueing to film. So I'm not going to ever really stop making art, but I'll probably always make music, but I probably won't be releasing it after Cowboy Tears.
Why?
Why? Because it's more of a contractual obligation. I'm not really allowed to talk too much on this. My lawyer, Jeremiah Jeffrey, has advised me not to speak too highly on this. But basically, I owe them another album. And there is the potential of, there's obligations. And the first album did better than we were hoping. And we were thinking that if it tanked a little bit more than it did, we would have been able to stop. But the label requested to act on the next option on the label deal, so we had to release Cowboy Tears, and we're still waiting for approval. I finished it. I was in the Middle East the last month, and I was in Northern Africa, Morocco, and Egypt, and I was finishing that album, and still waiting to see if they'll release it. If it's my guess, it's anywhere between the next year to 5 years that they might put it out if it does come out.
Do you not like the music industry?
Oh, it's a love-hate relationship. There's a lot of vampires, bloodsuckers, a lot of liars. I like making art, and I make art for myself, so it's a bittersweet kind of thing for me. But I make art, and part of releasing art is working in the industry, so it comes with the territory.
Why do you have to go to the Middle East to record a country album?
I figure there's nowhere better than there to finish this. I wanted to go somewhere new. I'm hitting every 7 continents, so I just have Brazil, all of South America, basically, that I'll be hitting in April for my world tour. And then I'm trying to play a show in Antarctica for the scientists on my birthday next year. So I'm trying to hit all of them before I turn 30, but realistically before I turn 29. So
Antarctica.
Yeah, Antarctica.
There's not much going on there.
Well, it's one of the last, if not the only last untouched place. I figure what better place to play for the scientists.
That's it. And as you bid your music career adieu, you want to go out historically.
Yeah, and there's not many people who have played this. Metallica and maybe 1 or 2 other acts. I don't know. There might be more, but my research has shown that it's pretty limited.
I support this. I hope this happens for you.
Oh, it is. I'm working on it already.
Part of me is like, is this an act? But the reality is I think it's you. Like, I think this is, like, you are, like, this is real.
This is the real guy. I took the costume off, took the glasses off.
Thank you.
And I'm here as myself. And everything I'm telling you is factual. You'll see it unravel. I've been making documentaries of my travels, so it's kind of hard to fake. But I was in Russia for 4 months. I was living there, filmed a documentary on that. I worked with this pop backed out there a little big, and we made an EP together, Welcome to the Internet, and filmed a few videos. So I've been all over the place, even post-pandemic. I'm trying to get out. I was traveling for 5 years touring, and COVID put a lid on that, and now I'm hungry to go more than ever. So I have a lot of traveling planned the next 6 months.
You grew up in a really weird place, Santa Cruz.
Yes,
People
sir.
don't fully understand it. Like that, I've been there twice. It's really frightening. The trees and the eeriness, but also the weird art and culture that exists there.
The people.
Yes.
A lot of strange fellas.
I mean, yes. You look like you'd be from Santa Cruz.
Thank you. I take that as a
It
compliment.
is.
SC local, actually.
Really?
Born and raised.
Boom. So, like, I mean, how much of that exists within you today? Like, who you are from, like, you grew up, how'd you grow up? What do your parents do?
Went on a family trip to Burning Man vacation, so that kind of explains what kind of parents I had. Yeah, my parents,
Really?
both artists, they met in a flute class.
Yeah, that's
the
exactly
class
what
didn't
exists there.
actually end up happening. There wasn't enough people, so they would play flute together, and they would go up in the trees at their school, and they would play, and people couldn't hear where it was coming from. They'd be looking around. But grew up in a musical household. Art was everywhere, musical instruments. My dad plays one song on every instrument, so
Wow.
yeah, he pretty much just knows one song on everything. He'll play the same song over and over.
What's that song?
A different one for every instrument.
Oh,
So,
okay.
like guitar, he plays the same gypsy jazz song over and over. You know, it's just the same classic song, whatever it is. But you know, my parents prioritized art over like new cars or anything. They made a rule like we're not going to get new cars. We're going to put that money into art, have that around the house to inspire the kids. So me and my brother are both artists. My brother will never want to work with me because he hates celebrities and money. He's a Buddhist. He lives in China.
Really?
And he's like anti everything that I am. So he's been good inspiration for me.
Unique relationship, yeah? Is there a relationship? Do you
Yeah,
have-
he's my brother. I love him.
No, of
my
course.
best friend.
But do you talk to, can you communicate actively with somebody who's a
WeChat.
Buddhist?
Oh, of course. Yeah, he's taught me so much. He's inspired me a lot. I mean, there's a lot of amazing things about Buddhism that I relate with. So I studied Buddhism to try to understand him better. He lived in like Buddhist sanctuaries and different places, but finally made his way out to China about 5 or 6 years ago. So I visit him sometimes, but it's been hard with COVID. It's been a few years.
Yeah. That's amazing. That's a real commitment.
Yeah.
And like finding peace,
Mhm.
because it does exist, yeah?
Potentially.
What is your peace?
Making art, flow state. I love making art. I can make it all day, all night. I work exclusively. Like we haven't taken a day off, me and my whole team, for literally years. So we work all the time. And I sometimes will, like, I went to a billionaire's party around Halloween, and it's like probably $1 million party. And I was there and I was like, this is cool, but I could be just as happy or probably have more fun making art by myself or with my friends. You know, I always work with my friends. So it's really fun because I made music by myself for years, produced every little detail, and had such pride in that. And then I was like, this is depressing. I'm just sitting alone in my room all day.
Yeah, what do you
making
have
stuff.
to share?
Yeah, and it's way better when you work with other people and they have different perspectives, and gives it kind of wide range, the yin and yang kind of effect.
You enjoy working with your friends?
Best friends, yeah. That's the only time they're going to see me, so that's the only time we hang out as if we're working. So all my best friends are my collaborators, my team. Those are my people.
That's really, I mean, you don't see like, don't shit where you eat. The concept of like taking your friends and injecting them into work and personal
Bro,
and
all I do
professional.
is work. If I didn't work with my friends, I wouldn't have any friends.
Yeah, you'd have nobody.
I would literally just be, what am I going to like work around with a bunch of old ass grandpas that are like, well, Ken, you're going to be a star. Like I've worked with that before, and it's like horrible. They're like, my dream is to light up a cigar when you go up on that stage, and you're going to, like, I'm going to retire while you go and play the biggest show. I'm like, dude, no. Like you're going to be with me till the end, or
Nah.
I mean, I might fire everyone at some point, try to get the percentages down, but that's another conversation.
Got it. Let them know. Put them on notice. Give them
Oh, they know. They know.
How does art start for you? Like, is it always flowing? Do you always have inspiration? Do you document? Like, what is it?
I have a never-ending well of ideas, which makes it hard to sleep sometimes. Like last night, I'm like writing down ideas at 5 a.m., and I'm like, I gotta wake up early to do some interviews and stuff. But I'm like, having trouble shutting it off sometimes, but it's not a problem. It really is it's a gift, and I'm grateful for it. So I just could make stuff whenever. I'm always making stuff, and I find that you don't ever have to stop if you just keep moving around. So switching to something in a different medium, like if I make music for 4 months straight and get burnt on it, I don't even allow myself to get burnt because I just move to the other thing, and I'll make music videos, documentaries, whatever. it's not the same thing at all. So even though they're both creative muscles and working different parts of the improv muscle in your mind, it doesn't allow you to be like, oh man, I'm so over this. It's like, no, I just move to the next thing before I get burnt out, or if I'm kind of burnt out on it, I just segue over, and it makes it impossible for me to get like burnt out and feel like I have any type of writer's block, because I keep pulling things from different mediums into what I do. If I'm writing a movie, for example, when I return to write music, I have a whole new perspective on writing. You know what I mean? So it fuels the fire.
That's interesting. Like, yeah, by changing it up and keeping it, like, varietizing what you do, your mind stays strong and sharp, and it never gets mundane. You never get bored. Comfort, I really do believe, is like the key to death.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any idea that you believe is too big, or is anything possible for you?
I mean, there's certain things that are out of the realm of reality. Like if I was going to levitate for you guys right now, that's a pretty big idea. And I'd like to get there, but something like that. But as far as creatively, no. I mean, there's different levels of execution. I mean, everything I make ends up way shittier than I see it in my head. So if you don't think it's good, trust me, you should have seen what I really saw. So, I mean, it's always going to be scaled down. So my whole mentality is you should at least double what you're trying to get, or 10 times, because it's going to be way worse than you ever could imagine. So shoot way too high.
So you don't fall too low.
Yeah, because you're going to fall low no matter what. So
Out of everything you've done, what was the biggest challenge so far?
It's hard for me to think about, a lot of failures. It's not funny.
But also, your friendship, that's a big one. Like your friendship falling, I mean, you're with your best friend over a song, a piece of art that you both loved, and the fact that is the song that has gone on, what do you say, is like changing your life actively?
I would say so, yes.
Like it is, I feel like it needed to be that song, right?
Yeah. Well, I think that just shows how amazing we knew that song was. That if we were like that much care went into what would happen with the song, I think we knew something special about it, and it's better late than never. And like I said, sometimes it's better to let stuff just not come out, and when it does come out, hopefully it's the right time, time and place. It's a luck thing on a lot of levels.
Do you feel like you need to have another Life Goes On?
I'm making a country album. I don't care about that. I'm not making pop music, if that's what you're asking. Like, that's a pop song, in my opinion. That's not really an alternative song. You know? I consider that, like, pretty straightforward pop music. I don't think it's what you think of when you think of pop, like Harry Styles or whatever. But for me, I'm not making pop music right now, if that's what you're asking. I'm making a country folk album. So it's like, am I trying to replicate that success? Hell no. I'm 7 years beyond that. So
that's wild.
Whatever I want to make, I put out, and I really try to make everything I do pop. But the thing is that genre-wise, the instrumentation that goes into something kind of dictates that, and that's why I call that song a pop song, is because there's no guitars in it. It's pretty like electronic and Rhodes and piano type vibe, so it's different.
Sonically, to your point, like, what is a pop song then? Is it
for me? It's short for popular, so literally anything. I could say Kendrick Lamar is a pop artist. You know what I mean? But I've argued with people about this all the time. When people have this preconceived notion of what pop is, they think of like bubblegum pop, like Ariana Grande, Justin Bieber. But for me, it's just a short term for popular.
So it should be a collection of different genres and different sounds, because it's what is of the moment, right?
Yeah.
That is pop music.
The audience decides what's pop.
Exactly. So this concept that there's a formula or a structure, or you need these certain instruments, or you need to have hooks here, whatever.
Does that mean country can be pop music then?
100%. It's probably way more pop than what I normally do. So yeah, I got a pop country album coming.
Cowboy Tears.
Cowboy Tears.
Cowboy Tears. So on your timeline, would that be coming out in like 2026, 5 years from now?
You'd have to ask the label, but there's a very good chance, yes.
We have to wait till 2025.
So much of my stuff, I released the deluxe album for Ugly is Beautiful, That's Where Life Goes On came out on, and all that music was made before the album, actually. So some of those songs are 8 years old, 9 years old, and it's like, people are like, this music sucks. I'm like, yeah, it's 9 years old. I know it sucks. The label made me do it.
So what are your Cowboy Tears? What are your current feelings on it? Do you think it's good right now?
It's the best album I've ever heard. I love it. It's the only thing I listen to, and makes me cry.
Is that what you want? You want your own music to evoke emotion?
Of course. I mean, it depends. Every song's different. I got a song called, which I don't know if you could say that on air, but
you're fine.
That's made to mosh pit. That's made to go aggro. So there's different songs for different vibes. You know what I mean? But yes, Cowboy Tears is an emotional thing for me. And the the core message is that it's okay for the tough guys to cry, guys like us, tough cookies, you know?
Amen.
And, you know, that's something I think is important because I think it is important for everybody to cry, and that's part of the message. But specifically, guys like hold in their emotions and then they let it out in anger and aggression. And so for me, this is like, I'm all about juxtaposition, things that shouldn't go together. And like Cowboy is crying is kind of one of those things. Just like ugly is beautiful. These are concepts, you know, like that concept is teaching people to love themselves, embracing their flaws, because that's what makes us unique. That's what makes us who we are. And that's what built our character. So not trying to alter that, like in a place like LA where everyone is addicted to plastic surgery. And I'm not talking about everyone, but a lot of people here. So kind of just trying to put in some core messages here that I think are important.
Messages that you live by?
Yes, sir. No plastic surgery. I know it's hard to believe.
Yeah, it's like really, you're stunning. The first thing I thought was like, wow, this guy got good work done.
Got a great doctor. No, you know what's crazy though? I posted this thing and I had like fake nose and fake chin, and I was like, oh, my plastic surgery went wrong. I did this interview on Genius and we posted this thing, and my team started getting a ton of messages from plastic surgeons saying, hey, we can fix you.
Wow.
We can help you. Free work.
That's what happens when you're a celebrity.
I wouldn't even call myself a celebrity. Z-list, maybe. Even Z-list.
Ooh.
Your brother doesn't think that. Your brother doesn't think so.
My
That
brother
came out
has
like-
no conceived notion of what celebrity is. He just knows it's the devil's work.
Do you feel like you're doing the devil's work? No.
No, hell no. I'm making art, born to inspire people, and I'm doing that. So people don't get it. Some people, you know, love or hate. It doesn't matter. Like with the last album, I made a character that was designed for people to hate. If you hated that, trust me, I hate that guy too. You know what I mean? It's okay with me.
Quickly though, two things that don't go together are a blonde bowl cut and long blonde hair in the back. But you
Mullet.
make it work.
It's the bullet, yeah.
The bullet.
Bowl cut
Oh, I
mullet.
love the name.
Yeah, inspired by Chili Bowl Mullet, man. Look him up. He's a legend.
Is that real? Is that a wig on your head or what?
This is my real hair.
Really?
If you can imagine, I'm stuck like this, yeah.
Wow.
That's how far I go for my art. I'm willing to sacrifice how I look for the art. So yes, this is my redneck country era, and this was what it had to be.
Do you think the label's going to want to release the album a little bit sooner following the success of Life Goes On?
It's a great question. Only time will tell. But yeah, I'd hope so. I mean, the album's finished. It's mastered. Mixed it all. It sounds great. And
Wow.
we'll see what happens.
I hope it's a compliment. It's like a mixture of Joe Exotic and Guy Fieri.
Thank you. That is a compliment.
Yeah.
It's a big one. How does the song start for you?
Could start a bunch of different ways. Sometimes it starts with just an idea, driving in the car to the studio, or having a concept that I wrote down as far as just like, this is an idea I want to explore. But typically starts with writing a guitar part and finding what melodies lay on that. And I've done, the last album was pretty much entirely improvised. And I realized the songs that did the best, like Alien Boy and Hurt, which became like platinum songs, those were songs that I wrote down. So I, with this album, wrote down everything. I said, I'm going to write it. But it's based around improv and like, you know, if I'm playing guitar, someone's playing guitar, find the right melodies, and then I just kind of write it out. I kind of let the vocals naturally write themselves in a way where I don't think too much. I just do flow state and whatever naturally comes, and then I kind of craft it together and try to write a full song in a night, sometimes 2, sometimes even 3, but I try to finish the whole song, get it as close, because I have thousands of songs, so if it's not an incredible sounding song and it needs a lot of work, it'll never get worked on again. It's just going to go into the pile.
Do you need to finish everything?
We're define finish.
Like, or at least get it to a point where
It's presentable. Yeah, I
Yeah.
want to listen to it. It's got to be close. But finish, that's a question, you know, because I make the first version, which is done that night.
Yeah.
And that's why I work till the sun comes up almost every time I'm in the studio, because I want to have a finished product.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean it's completely finished. Mixing can take months, even years.
No, totally. But some
So
people can bail. You know what I mean? Like they could start a song and then be like, it's going nowhere, and then
I
go.
can't do it. I just make it and I just let it run its course. And if it's bad, then I move to the next one faster. But you don't know, because the last hour, I would say, is what really defines the song. So something might be like sound horrible, and in 1 hour it can all come together in a crazy way, moving the parts around, changing the key, the pitch, whatever. It can really change the song. So, you know, changing the production and the genre of the song. I might make a rock song and pull the instrumentation out and make it a house song, and all of a sudden it's a banger.
And you can't, by the way, like that's the sign of a great song, right? The fact that you can
Exactly.
literally, the lyrics tell a story that can be applied to any production and it still hits no matter what. Which, by the way, like that's why I think pop having one sound is just bullshit.
Yes.
It just doesn't make any sense.
Well,
I've been preaching that for a
big.
long time.
Yeah.
And I'm on a lot of pop radio stations. Trying to do the Lord's work.
God's work.
What makes a good country song? What have you learned while making an album?
Little honky tonk, little stanky leg.
Well, stanky leg.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mixture of the two, I would say.
Hunky stank.
Yes.
Sick.
Precisely. But yeah, I mean, a little heartbreak goes a long way. Just pouring yourself into it just makes a good song no matter what. Doesn't matter the genre.
If you're always working and you have no time to live, how do you get inspiration?
That's the thing. My term of work is loose. I find excuses to go to the Middle East and film a documentary. Yeah. That's work for me.
Totally.
But there's so much inspiration. I've never been more inspired. So everything I do can be a job, you know? It's not like, oh yeah, I'm just locked in a room all day. I found ways to go out and do cage fighting, build the world's biggest scooter. You know, I broke the world record. You could look it up on Guinness, but I built the world's biggest scooter last year. I just find excuses to do crazy shit. Everything I do is an excuse to do something I pretty much have a dream for. I mean, some exceptions, but essentially I found excuses to call everything a job. I found a really unique way to make a living.
What is success to you?
I'd say finding happiness, which, you know, that's not something that's a constant, comes in waves. But I would say doing what you want to do, staying true to yourself, being able to do what you love, that would be success, I would say.
Are you doing it?
Yes, sir.
Are you happy?
I am very happy.
Do you have time for love? Do you want love?
I don't get into my personal life.
Ooh.
So I won't go there, but I would say an amazing life and some would say legendary life.
Are any of the songs on Cowboys Don't Cry or Cowboys Cry?
Cowboy Tears.
Cowboy Tears. Jesus Christ. Cowboy Tears. I'm so sorry.
How much time we got here?
Are any of those songs ripped from your reality, like your
Everything
life?
is. Everything I make is reality.
Are you telling stories from your own existence, from your own past?
Of course. I mean, you think I'm just making stuff up here?
No, I mean, some people choose to write based on things that like they've actually gone through, they've been through.
That's me.
Yeah.
Well, think about this. If, like, for example, this is why I don't take songs from other people. If I'm out there singing it every night and I didn't live that, how much of an authentic connection can I make with the people who are receiving it? How real can that be? So for me, the utter importance is it's based on my life, what I've experienced, what I know, because that can make me tell the story on a real way that can get a connection with people. Otherwise, it's fake.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's phony. So for me, music is very, very personal, very real. But, you know, outside of that, it's entertainment.
Is it how you communicate with people the best?
I would say it's the most authentic version of myself that gets put through.
And by the way, like that's what I really wanted to know, because the truth is, like, you are in yourself art, right?
Yeah.
And to a certain degree, that could be overwhelming, right? Because where do you
For
begin?
the viewer? Or
Yeah,
for
or
me?
like I'm just trying to get to know you as a musician, because your music's amazing.
Thank you. I appreciate
Really,
that.
it's incredible. And this success, by the way, a long time coming. I've been following you for a couple years now.
Thank you.
So yeah,
Grateful.
well deserved, beyond. But it is. Some people can look and think it's a character. You know, we have characters come and sit on our couch not often, but they have.
Yeah.
And they put on an act. But the reality is, this is you.
This is me. I mean, the thing is, this is show business. So, like, that's why I wore that outfit for so long, but I hung the outfit up. You know, I'm just in normal clothes. I'm a normal Joe. Just here to talk. You know what I mean? I'm not here to make a fake version of myself. What I'm telling you is facts here, but, you know, the reality is that this is show business. So if it's not interesting, who the fuck's going to care? But the reality is I played a character that's less interesting than the real guy. So
Wow.
kind of pulling down some of those walls.
Was that a tough realization to have?
No, it worked.
Yeah.
That's how I was able to get to where I am. So no shame in that. But, you know, gets old. I started hating doing interviews. I started just feeling like miserable. So I was like, all right, let's hang this up. Moving on to the next phase. And Cowboy Tears, I'm here.
Which is you.
The real guy.
Very exciting.
Thank you.
Really, really. What are you thinking?
Did you go to Egypt when you were overseas?
I did.
What was it like over there?
Insane.
Yeah.
mind-blowing. Pyramids were cool, but just interacting with the people, crazy energy there. Really insanity, chaos in some ways, but so much beauty, so much inspiration. I mean, I loved what I did. I filmed a crazy documentary on the process and wrote a lot of a screenplay there, chain smoking in a hotel, and it was amazing.
Chain Smoking in the Hotel, is that the name of the documentary? Is that just what you did?
I was just chain smoking while I wrote my screenplay. I'm not smoking cigarettes now, but when I write, sometimes it happens.
Stress induced, or is it like channeling something?
No, I think it's just a writer thing.
Yeah.
I mean, not always, but that's like something that plays a part, I'd say, in the stimulation, keep my energy going.
How do you stay focused? Yeah, because like you.
Well, I'm sober now. I will say that. I was
Congratulations.
smoking a pound of weed a month, and that was last year, right as I was quitting, and wasn't serving me. I was just always sick. Always had a sinus infection. Essentially, I'm allergic to weed, as it turns out. So, like, I'm allergic to grass. So, weed is a type of grass. And just always made me feel sick, as far as, like, sore throats, colds. Just kind of horrible, especially when you're touring and stuff. So, I would always try to stop while I toured. But then, I came to a point where I was trying to move to the next level up. And at that point, I was like, this is no longer serving me. And I've never been more prolific. So, I thought weed was keeping me up because weed has different effects on different people. And it can make you sleepy, or it can be
make
coffee.
you focused and creative.
And I was like,
driven.
oh yeah, weed is like the thing keeping me up and keeping me going. This is great. It works so well. But then I stopped doing it, and I was like, yeah, that wasn't the reason. I just have too many ideas. So weed wasn't actually doing anything for me except for making me go outside to take smoke breaks every 5 minutes. So I realized it wasn't actually serving me, and I can do a lot more without it.
Wow, by the way, that's a big realization to have in life. I'm currently waiting to have my own version of that.
We can find it. You just got to experiment, see what works, what doesn't.
Was it hard to let go?
Not really. I mean, I've smoked my fair share. I think, of course, like any addiction, I still struggle with addiction. I have my whole life. But was it hard to quit weed? Not really, no. It's not that hard of a drug to stop. I mean, yeah, I want it. I love smelling it when my friends smoke around me, whatever. It's nice scent, but do I miss it? No.
And you're more creative now than ever.
Yeah, weed doesn't necessarily make anyone creative. I think it's something that we think does, but the reality is that these ideas are coming from in our brains, and from the outside world, the inspiration. So if you're looking around and you're looking within, the inspiration's there.
Cannabis really could fog it up too.
It can do different things for different people, but I guess what I'm saying here is you don't need it to be creative.
Wow. Need to have this conversation. I appreciate that very much.
Of course, you're welcome.
What are you thinking, Daniel?
So you mentioned that you're only really listening to Cowboy Tears now. So what are your current thoughts on the Ugly is Beautiful album?
Garbage. I don't listen to any of the old stuff that's already out. That's so not where I'm at right now. Like Life Goes On, that's 7 years old. Like that's not where I am right now. I don't listen to that song. Don't listen to any of that shit. But I do like listening to the new stuff. I like showing my friends it, getting the feedback, seeing what kind of connects. Because, I'm an entertainer. I like to showcase the new stuff I'm working on. I never would be like, look at this thing I made 7 years ago. Like, it just doesn't connect with who I am today. So I'm really excited about the stuff that I made for me right now in this era of my life.
So is it fun performing the old songs, or is it?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
I love seeing people sing along, chanting certain songs like Alien Boy is just crazy. It's like something that's connected with a wide audience of people who feel a little bit alienated by the world. So something like that is a beautiful song to play. I love to play them, but I don't listen to them.
What part of the creative process fulfills you the
All
most?
of it. I love making stuff. I would say the ending part of the process is the worst. It's the most miserable, doing the fine detail work. I love making the stuff, but finishing, whether it's an edit on a video or finishing a mix on a song, that can feel like a job. That can be more tedious. That's why I went to the Middle East. I'm like, let me go somewhere new that I've never been. Let me do the worst part of the job somewhere that is incredible or something I haven't seen. So that's the reason why I love traveling, doing that portion. Like I'm about to mix some more music and definitely not going to be anywhere near America for that. So,
wow. Does that change the result of the song?
I would say so. Like we're in the middle of Morocco and we're in a swimming pool and we're listening to the mixes with all my best friends and just hearing it with a different perspective and going around riding through the desert on motorcycles during the weekends, climbing mountains, climbing trees with goats. And
Jesus.
yeah, I would say that helps kind of wipe and cleanse the palate for a fresh mindset when you return to the work day on Monday.
Totally.
Are you recording all of this music with the plan to put it out? Because what you're saying, it's like Cowboy Tears, you said, would be your first and last album.
Yeah.
So if you say that's done, what are you creating all this other stuff for?
Well, I will always make stuff just for me. And, you know, who knows? Maybe there's more iterations of Cowboy Tears. But the reality is, only time will tell. We don't even know if Cowboy Tears will come out. So
That's right. It's up to the suits.
it is. The big wigs, if you will.
That's it.
But you know what? As much hate as I've had with Atlantic Records, I love them so much. They've done so much amazing stuff for me. So it's love-hate. But I'm grateful they've killed it recently. With, you know, they can't do much for you unless you got a song that's like a hit record. So when you give them the hit,
They go.
for once they started working for me. So my perspective has changed a lot on the label. I'll say that in the last 2 months. I'm like, well, you guys actually recognize that I'm here killing myself for you guys?
Remember me?
Yeah. Because the thing is, when you're on a major label, like, you know, only the 1% is like really being focused. The rest of the artists fall down at the bottom of the barrel, and most of them will never get to album 2. I think 2% out of 100 will actually get to album 2. So for me to even get to album 2 is monumental. All my friends that signed, they're, you know, either didn't even get to album 1 or are struggling to get to album 2. I mean, it's just it's almost impossible. So the fact that I made it this far is insane.
And you have further to go.
I think it's, of course, I haven't even scratched the surface yet.
That's
but
right.
with music, we'll see. I'm kind of at my wit's end with this as far as, you know, doing the industry thing. I love the label. I hate the label. It's one hot, cold moment after the next. But ready to go and move over to be making these feature films.
You know what? At a time where you actually have a hit.
Well, I think I can utilize that to get my foot in the door somewhere else. So
Hell yeah.
it's all about, you know,
Gosh.
collateral.
And like, yeah, leverage, but also keeping it fresh creatively and taking on new challenges so you don't get stale and bored.
100%.
Respect.
Kind of reminds me of what like Lil Dicky did, where he put out the music, then created Dave the TV show.
But he had been
I'm
working
not
on Dave
familiar
forever.
with him. Who is he?
Oh, Lil Dicky?
Mhm.
He is a rapper who makes music, has a TV show, and kind of did his own version of performance art too, to a certain degree. His whole thing was tiny penis.
Mm.
You know, that was his, you know, small.
No, Lil Dicky, yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
Can I ask about a couple song names that your fans are wondering if they'll ever come out?
Yeah, of course.
Circuits?
Circus, right? The song Circus?
Well, maybe this person spelled it
Britney
wrong.
Spears?
Oh, you wrote that?
No, but I know the song. It's a good one. What about it?
Will it ever come out?
Circus? I think it did drop in like 2012, if I'm not mistaken. I'm sorry, I'm missing the question.
How about a song called Lies? Did you ever write a song called Lies?
No? Where are you getting this from your fan? Where did you get this?
From his fans.
That sounds like a goddamn lie to me, if you ask me.
Do you have a song called Shut Me Up?
No.
No. I don't know where you're getting this information. Where'd you find it?
I took it from. Let me find the exact source.
It's okay, yeah. But I don't know any of this stuff. But tell you the truth, any music, no, is not going to come out. I'm just putting out the new stuff, and Cowboy Tears is likely to be the last.
Sad.
Not sad, man. Smile because it happened. Don't cry because it's over.
That was beautiful.
Thank you.
On that note, Oliver Tree, thanks for hanging out, man.
Thanks for having me.
I really appreciate you.
Likewise.
Hey, beautiful human, thanks for watching our full interview, but I get it. Like, a full interview is a lot. So we got a clips channel. We don't expect you to watch the full thing anymore, so we just gave you the highlights. Please subscribe and notifications and all that stuff. Okay, cool. I love you.